Law and Order SVU Season 26 Finale Recap. Episode 22, Post-Rage, Breakdown and Ending Explained. Here is your Law and Order SVU recap for tonight's brand new Thursday, May 15, 2025 episode on NBC. Benson looks into a series of sexual assaults that target local female doctors in tonight's Law and Order SVU Season 26 Episode 22, Post-Rage, according to the NBC description. The team rejoices over a promotion. For our Law and Order SVU recap, be sure to bookmark this page and return between 9 and 10 p.m. ET. Check out all of our Law and Order SVU recaps, spoilers, news, and more while you wait for the recap. The Law and Order SVU recap for tonight starts now. Frequently refresh the page to receive the most recent information. Detective Velasco worked late one night in tonight's Law and Order SVU episode. He was finishing off some paperwork. She informed him that he needed a rest after his captain feigned to notice that he was still present. She volunteered to purchase a drink for him. Velasco was being promoted, so it was all a pretext to lure him to the bar. He was now a second-grade detective. The entire team came to join him in celebrating. They didn't mind drinking as much as they wanted because they weren't paying. His friends weren't there just for that. They were all fond of Velasco. He was an excellent police officer. They initially didn't notice it since they believed he was a spy. He worked as a spy. Benson also assisted him in overcoming his trauma and secrets. Since then, Velasco has shown himself to be an invaluable asset to SVU. Additionally, he didn't arrive at work the following morning with a hangover. They had a case. A doctor once suffered an assault in her own house. Dr. Gretchen Stewart is her name. He broke in and she heard it. When she attempted to grab her revolver, her assailant startled her. He assaulted her. For some reason, he even went for the right eye. Her retina was torn by him, but it wasn't the only strange thing. Afterwards, the attacker concealed the victim as well. Benson, who had more expertise, proposed an alternative to Curry's theory that it might be a ritual. She believed that concealing the victim was an act of regret. The doctor made notes on patients, which filled a book. Several pages had been torn away. The book was perused by her helper. The patient must have torn out pages from around the holidays, she added. Additionally, because it was privileged information, she was unable to comment further. It was brought up by the assistant that Gretchen had gone out to supper with a coworker earlier that evening. Dr. Gary Schwartz took her to supper. He was another psychiatrist. Gretchen wasn't prepared for such a connection, and he wanted them to be more. A few years ago, her husband passed away. It was still a new wound. She later asked for her husband when she awoke in the hospital. She wanted to be reassured because she was still feeling sleepy. Fortunately, by that time, the police had a suspect. Schwartz informed them that Gretchen had brought up Anthony Firo, a troublesome patient. Due to his wife's domestic abuse, Firo was detained twice. The wife declined to testify against him, therefore it didn't proceed. Instead, she recommended couples counseling, which the police thought would solve their issues. Schwartz was only informed by Gretchen that she was making every effort to persuade the wife to divorce Firo. Since they became her patients during the winter break, she has been making an effort. The pages of her notes were torn out at the same moment. Later, as Gretchen positioned herself, the police asked her about him. She also admitted to them that she attempted to use her firearm. The identical firearm that was not discovered at the site. 3 months ago, she received it. Gretchen was concerned about what the assailant may do with it because it was missing from the scene, indicating that he took it with him. Firo was someone she knew. He was especially harsh to her. The police set out to find him. They discovered him leaving a bodega. He fled when they attempted to arrest him. He shot at them as well. Soon after, he found himself besieged and flung himself off a flyover. He struck a car on the ground and died instantaneously. Benson believed the matter was settled. They couldn't close this one yet, according to Carasy. Firo did not use Gretchen's firearm. He did lose his wife. A restraining order was obtained against him. It just wasn't his temper. She left because of his paranoia. He developed a ketamine addiction that caused him to become so paranoid that he believed his wife was unfaithful. He made her follow him. He asked her. To find out if she had been with someone else, he once examined her pants. He didn't believe her, and she never cheated on him. She sought therapy for this reason. Carissy didn't think the case was finished yet. When a second psychiatrist was discovered dead, his intuition was correct. After being sexually raped and having both of her eyeballs gouged out, Dr. Wright's killer carried her to a couch and covered her with a blanket. Either Gretchen was lucky, or he was becoming worse. For online counseling, both women utilized the same website. American Psychiatric Wellness was the name of the program. Keith Sparks is one of their mutual patients. Gretchen has recently been granted the benefit of the doubt by Sparks. She kept reaching out to him. He didn't respond either. Additionally, there was nobody in the city by the name of Keith Sparks. Compared to Gretchen, Wright took more notes. She was killed at work after leaving them at home, so her notes remained with her widow. He turned them over to law enforcement. They searched for anyone who had violent tendencies. They discovered one man who thought he had killed a past president and that the cover-up was orchestrated by a deep state. He did not murder them. None of the crimes he claimed to have committed have been committed by him. Curry was also instructed by Benson to investigate additional cases involving the same MO. That's the murderer's true signature, she claimed. Later, Curry discovered another homicide in Connecticut that used the same methodology. It was a different female psychiatrist. Dr. Burgess had her eyeballs gouged out and suffered sexual assault. She was also killed. Benson thought the adrenaline had worn off because she was wrapped in a blanket. She believed that this also applied to the other victims. Gretchen was attacked after Burgess was dead. Everyone began to wonder why she wasn't slain as well. Surgery was even successful in reattaching Gretchen's eye. She didn't want to be blinded by the now-proven murderer. He wanted to blind the others, but not as badly. Burgess had no spouse. She was a bit older. Her adult son was glad to assist the police because he has been searching for answers for years. Curry and Finn remained in Connecticut longer in an attempt to identify the culprit. With the enigmatic Keith Sparks, they believed they had a reliable suspect back in New York City. After all, it wasn't his true name. Ted Schramm is his true name. Gretchen thought he was Keith Sparks. He worked as a mechanic. When the police officers introduced themselves, he also made an attempt to flee. Schramm voluntarily leaped onto the adjacent fire escape from the building's roof. Despite his best efforts to escape, he was eventually apprehended by law enforcement. He was taken into custody. They asked him questions. In the end, Schramm acknowledged that he has been intermittently attending multiple therapists. Due to the numerous recommendations from therapists, he was institutionalized several times. He refers to therapy as mental manipulation. He felt that the therapists never assisted him, and he yearned to be free of his suffering. They merely conversed. Schramm accepted accountability for the killings and assaults. Formally, he was charged, and that was about it. Carissy was going to accuse him of premeditated crimes and throw the book at him in court. Perhaps Schramm didn't kill Gretchen because she didn't want to give up on him. Additionally, Velasco was promoted at a spectacular event that recognized their efforts. FINSHMNT